So I've been playing Genshin Impact for roughly a year now. It's actually been a little over a year now that we're in August, so it's been like a year and like a month and a half. And you know, there's been some ups and there's been some downs, but honestly, I think Genshin Impact is definitely one of those games that is worth trying in 2024 if you haven't tried it before. Hello everybody, my name is Kudu, or you can call me Enrique, and today we're going to be going over if Genshin Impact is worth it in 2024, what I like about it, what I find fun, what I dislike, 5 stars I regret pulling for, and 5 stars I don't regret pulling for, and stuff like that. So let's get into it. First things first, the biggest thing about Genshin Impact is that it is an open world game. As you can see, it's been 4 years of progression so far, but you start off in this little area of Mondstadt, and don't worry, when you first start the game, you're not, can I grab this? You're not able to see like all of the map. Like this can be definitely overwhelming to someone. I mean, I'm still missing things in this game, but this can definitely be overwhelming to a new player. But don't worry, when you first start off Genshin, you know, you're only limited to Mondstadt, so you're limited to like this area right here. As you progress through the game, you unlock Dragon Spine, then you unlock Leeway. After you finish Leeway, you get sent to Inazuma. Then you get, yeah, the desert and the rainforest. It scares me, which is why I haven't done like any progression on it. And then you get Mondstadt. And then, lucky for you, the newest region comes out in like 2 weeks or so, and that being Natlan. And that's most likely going to add like a whole area over here based on what people were like adding up from the trailers and all that. But yeah. Biggest thing about Genshin Impact is that it's a open world game with lots of exploration. Like pretty much anything you can see for the most part in the distance, you can kind of go to. Like there's a lot of times where if you're on a high mountain over here in Leeway, or you're in like a high place in Fontaine, you can see like all the way to Inazuma and vice versa. So that's probably one of the biggest things I like about it, is like how big the game feels, but it can definitely feel overwhelming. So you know, if you're not someone that's really into open world games and you prefer something that's a lot more linear, and you like turn-based combat, for example, Honkai Star is a really good game for that, or Honkai Impact 3 even, or again, even Zenless Zone Zero, the game that just came out. But next thing is the combat. So Genshin Impact has you play with 4 different characters on your team at once, and they all have different elemental types. They all have different weapons. Like Farina here has a sword, Yayo has a spear, Yelan has a bow, Cloran has a sword, but she really shoots a gun, right? So there's a bunch of different elemental types in the game, and they all react differently, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I like the combat. I know one of the biggest complaints about Genshin Impact's combat is that it's too easy, or that the game is too easy, especially for people who like C6 a character, which is, you know, when you get all their unlocked abilities. I'm not gonna go too into depth because obviously this isn't like a guide or anything, but you know, I really personally enjoy the combat. When I got back on this game yesterday after taking like a break from playing it, like I would log in to get my Welkin and stuff like that, but when I got back to playing yesterday, the first thing that I immediately got satisfied with was with this Hyper Bloom team, right? Seeing all the different colors on the screen and things just blowing up and dying, and the synergies that the characters have with each other, it's one of the best things, and I haven't really been able to find it in like any other different game. I know there's games that are like Genshin Impact, like Wu Wow, Weather and Waves is a game that came out that's similar with 3 characters, but the game doesn't really have like an elemental type system, and that's something that I really enjoy about Genshin. The other thing I really enjoy is like the art style. Obviously the biggest thing about this game is that it has an anime-esque art style, but I feel like all the characters, except for what we talked about the past weeks with the 3 drama videos I covered, all the characters have very unique designs, and you know, I feel like each one you can tell is someone different. Like Yao Yao looks completely different to Farina, obviously. I mean, Yao Yao is really short, but like all the characters have like their own distinct personality, and they all have their own distinct like outfits. Like Yelan's signature thing is her armpits. Like if I do this, you know, the armpit girl, whatever, she goes like, ah, and you can see her armpits. I know, I'm sorry, I'm weird. But also her jacket, like the little jacket that follows her around when she's, you know, going around the map and stuff like that. So, you know, the design, the combat, and the other thing is the music. Like the music of Genshin Impact is amazing. Any region you go to has its own specific music. Mondstadt and Leeway kind of being my personal favorite, I'm not gonna lie. Mondstadt's more of like a nostalgic one, but Leeway's music, just when you're in like the plains over here and the sun is setting or rising and the Leeway music goes off, it's just like perfection. So would I recommend Genshin Impact to someone who, you know, wants to play an open world game and wants to get into it? Yes, 100%. Despite all the criticism that Genshin Impact has against it and all the things that have been happening recently, at the end of the day, it is a free-to-play game, and nothing in the game you have to buy to progress the story whatsoever. All this content that is in the game is accessible to everyone as long as you just play the game. There is kind of like a time gating system where you have to reach a certain level, but that's not something you can just straight up buy. And you know, if you look at it from face value, if there wasn't any gacha in this game at all and you just took it as a narrative experience, an open world experience, I think this game is great. That's one of the biggest reasons why I fell in love with it. It's one of the biggest reasons why I got hooked to it. And I know open world is not for everybody, but some people really enjoy exploring. You know, there are some things, like, since this is a gacha game, you know, you do have your resin system where you know, it would be cool if we could farm artifacts without having to use resin, because I just love looter shooter games. Like, I love being able to loot stuff. It's really fun. But you know, since it is a gacha game, that is an aspect that you have to think about. Next thing we're gonna be looking at the characters I regret pulling, and some of the characters I don't regret pulling, because there's some characters I think I probably should have never wished on. We're gonna start off with a hot take. Hu Tao. I know Hu Tao is amazing. I know she's absolutely. I never use her. If I go look at her, I mean, I have her signature weapon. Can I? Oh, I don't know how to like actually look. Okay, I guess I have to go over here. Technical difficulties. I have her signature weapon, right? I have Staff of Homa. I don't have her C1. I used to have a really banger artifact set on her. It's just, I don't like her out. Like, when she doesn't have her C1, she feels very clunky. Like, the whole jump canceling thing with her, or you could play her with Plunge if you have Jinion. But like, I think the problem with Hu Tao is that I got her at the same time that I got Neuvillette. And if you know anything about Neuvillette, you know this guy is, one, super fun to play, and two, super busted. Like, he's an Omega S tier character. They tried to nerf him, and the community did not let that happen. But yeah, I just don't use Hu Tao. And another thing is that, like, I have Yoimiya, and I know Yoimiya is weaker than Hu Tao in almost every regard, but one, I think Yoimiya's personality is a lot she's very bubbly, she's very enjoyable to play and run around with. Her auto targeting is really convenient, especially when you just want to sit there and like mash left click or mash whatever button you're playing on, whatever device you're playing on. You know, she's super mobile friendly. Like, she's very simple. You press your action skill and you just spam normal attack. You don't have to worry about running away. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And that's why, like, I just never find myself playing Hu Tao. Like, I remember one of the first reasons why I started playing this game was because of Hu Tao and Raiden Shogun. I saw edits of them using their bursts and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, she does so much damage, she looks so cool. And then I got her and I'm just like, nah. Another 5-star I also regret pulling for is Eula. Now, friends who watch this video, some of them know the grind I went on to get this character. I grinded so hard because I didn't want to spend any money on her. I literally, from like the patch that she came out, I saved up like 78 wishes throughout that whole entire patch, just spending every single time I had 160 primos to get her. I think I finally got her at like 80 something pity after losing the 50-50. At the time when I got her, at the level when I got her, she was great, but I had Yoimiya already. And the problem with Eula is that she feels very clunky and kind of like outdated, like as if the kit that she has needs to be reworked, which it really does, because physical doesn't really have anything really going for it. Like, why use physical when you can use Geo, which is pretty much physical with orange flavor on it? Not only that, but like the obvious power creep here, Navia just completely power creeps Eula. I mean, I know Eula at like C10,000 is better than Navia at C0, obviously, but Navia is literally just, you press your E skill once you collect crystal meth, can I say that on YouTube? I don't know, crystals, and then instant boom shotgun damage, and then your normal attacks do like pretty decent geo damage. So like, it's just a character that if I could go back in time and save my 80 something wishes on, same thing with Hu Tao, like I would save them just so I could get someone else. Moving on, we're going to talk about characters that I have no regrets pulling for, and this shouldn't be a surprise, but Yoimiya is the first one. I don't use her often. She was actually one of my first 5-star event characters. Miko and Yoimiya were my two first 5-star characters that are on the same banner when I first started playing, and I don't regret either one of them. In fact, Miko or Yae Miko is like a staple in almost all my teams. Like, even though I have Fischl at like C5 with her signature weapon and a banger artifact set, I still use Yae because I have her signature and I have two-piece attack, and I just really enjoy Yae Miko. Like the turret spinning foxing thing and her burst, it's so satisfying. And again with Yoimiya, like she carried me through like 99% of the game up until this point, like from AR 20 something till AR like 52. She really did carry me like all the way through Genshin, and I do plan on building her again here in a little bit, because you know, it's not like she's missing everything. I just need to give her like a certain circlet and then she's fine. But yeah, these are two characters that I really don't regret pulling for. Actually, I have another one, sorry, split. This is Ayato, completely regret pulling for. I already had Neuvillette when I got Ayato. No, I think it's the reverse. I think Ayato came out before Neuvillette. I regret pulling him. I regret pulling Ayato. I accidentally got him. I was joking with friends. I'm like, what if I wish one time on his banner? And then I ended up getting him, which is crazy. There's really no place for him when you have Neuvillette. I know, sue me. I know that's a sort of a hot take for Ayato mains. He's cool. Don't get me wrong. He's really cool. He's like Cloran, but with Hydro. It's just Neuvillette to me is a lot easier to play and just does everything he can do just a tiny bit better. The next character I don't regret pulling whatsoever is Yelan. In fact, I have Yelan's signature and I have her C1. It doesn't show it on there for some reason, but I have her signature weapon and I have her C1, so obviously Yelan is going to be amazing. But the fact that she makes exploration so much easier because of her E skill is one of the reasons why I recommend her to almost every single person that starts playing Genshin Impact. Like, if you don't like her, don't get her. You can get Xingqiu or Xingqiu, you know, level his cottons up and he's just as good as Yelan at C0. But her traversal, her E skill, her burst, everything about her is just so simple. She's really easy to build. Just throw on a bunch of HP and call it a day. That's pretty much it. The next character that I really don't regret pulling for, Arlecchino. I have Arlecchino C2. This was the second character I ever free to play saved for like a long period of time. I got her signature weapon. Luckily, I got her C1 and C2. I lost C3 to Diluc C2, unfortunately. But Arlecchino is just, she's such a fun character and she's such a different character from all the other characters in the game. She's kind of like a glass cannon, except like the glass is made out of titanium. I know that doesn't make any sense, but she's just really fun, and she was a character I was really looking forward to, especially because like her scythe is so cool and her design and everything. She's a very raw character. She has that aura. The next couple characters I don't regret pulling for whatsoever. Furina. Furina is an absolutely S tier plus unit. If you have Furina, you know how good Furina is, and you know that she's just a character that pretty much, I wouldn't say, she definitely trivializes some aspects of the game, but she's just fun to have. Like when you need to cross a lake in Genshin Impact, you just throw on Furina, press E skill, and just run across the lake. Like, you never have to swim again. The next character, I talked about him earlier, but Neuvillette. I mean, this guy, I have his signature weapon. He's at C0. Neuvillette just does so much for me. Like, I go into a domain, and if I don't want to like actually try hard in the domain, I pull on Neuvillette, I turn my DPI button on, and I go like this. I spin like crazy, and I spin to win. Domain's done in like 12 seconds. There's a lot of characters that I really don't regret pulling for, except for like, of course, the ones I talked about. Almost every 5-star I've gotten hasn't really been particularly for meta reasons, except for Kazuha, Nihida. But like, most times I'll get a 5-star character because I really enjoy how they look and I think their gameplay is really fun and engaging. I was gonna get Zhao. I guess we can move on to like characters I wanted to get. I've always wanted to get Zhao. I think Zhao looks super fun. Zhao and Wonder, of course. It's just like, after playing Zhao, I think I would get bored of him really easily. I'm sorry, Ziox. The whole like, it's just not for me. It's not for me. I'm not a pogo stick. For a character that I would absolutely love to have in the future, Dea. I know this is so weird for me to want Dea, but there's just like, I even have merchandise of, oh, it's falling apart. It's falling apart. I have merchandise of Dea. Okay, you see it's a little like splash art stuff. I know she's really bad, but I have teams that could actually use her, and I want to use her because I liked her in the story and I like her a lot. She's one of the only brown people in this game, and I mean, that's all I can really have. But yeah, Let me know what you guys thought down and below. Let me know who you regret pulling for. Let me know who you don't regret pulling for. And let me know your overall thoughts of Genshin in 2024. I know this game has a lot of bad things going for it right now. Trust me, I know I made 3 videos on it. But overall, I still think this game is an absolute banger for anyone who's wanting something that's free to play on PlayStation or mobile. Mobile's kind of whatever, but on PC, like if you're looking for a game to sink time into and you don't mind the art style, you don't mind the combat, you don't mind open world, definitely try Genshin Impact. But yeah, hope you guys had a good day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.